Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from your respective positions. Once again, you are welcome here on the platform for Awakening Consciousness. So, in the international news headlines, it's a major blow for the West, the decadent West. The West, which is trying to use Ukraine to seek at all costs to isolate Russia during this grand celebration of the 80th anniversary of Russia's victory over Nazi Germany, has resorted to all sorts of methods. Zelensky has threatened. Zelensky insists and continues to insist that he cannot ensure the safety of world leaders who will be in Moscow on May 9th. On the other side, we have the president of the council, the vice president of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, who came out to say that if Ukraine attempted anything on May 9th, on May 10th, Ukraine would disappear entirely, completely. So in this back and forth, we saw that two European leaders who had announced they would be present in Moscow on May 9th both fell ill at the same time. So that's frightening. They were certainly poisoned. That means these people will certainly not be present on May 9th. But against all odds, or instead of China being discouraged, Xi Jinping announced his presence. Yes, he announces and confirms his presence alongside Vladimir Putin on May 9th. And it's a hard blow for the West, since the West wanted to see this celebration fail, create panic in the minds of world leaders, and make world leaders consider that day as a cursed day, and that place as a cursed place. But Xi Jinping remains loyal to Russia. He has just confirmed his presence. So, in the context of this video conference, that's what we are going to talk about. But I ask you to share the video conference as much as possible. Give it a lot of likes. Give it a lot of likes. And above all, don't forget to always leave your opinion in the comments, because these are the two elements that make the video conference: what I say here and what you put in the comments. So, according to official information, Chinese President Xi Jinping will visit Russia from May 7th to May 10th. That is to say, he will not only be there on May 8th, but already on May 7th, he will be there. He will be there on May 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, 4 days in total. It's a way to show Europe that he is in line with Putin's mindset. Even though at times Donald Trump created an unprecedented trade war between China and America, while favoring Russia because that was Trump's game, the extraordinary, exorbitant tariffs that were imposed on all countries, which were inflicted on China, Russia did not experience that. Russia was exempted. So it was a way to pit the two countries against each other. If China didn't think carefully, it would say, but what's going on? Is Russia stabbing me in the back? Is Russia rising up against me? Is Russia scheming with a state that is my enemy? But Xi Jinping knows the man, Vladimir Putin. Xi Jinping remained calm and silent. However, deep down, he knew that everything Donald Trump was seeking with Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump was not going to get, because he knows the man. And obviously, we saw the American administration. In the end, we saw the American administration lamenting. They said they were very disappointed with Russia because everything they asked for, Russia accepted nothing. Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's special envoy, himself said that he is tired. He has already traveled to the Kremlin 4 times. He says that the Kremlin is really beautiful. It's a sumptuous palace. But you don't get at the Kremlin what you're looking for. So let's go back. Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, is going to visit Russia at the on the invitation, obviously, of Vladimir Putin. He will therefore participate in the commemorations of the 80th anniversary of the victory. In the Great Patriotic War, Russia's victory. He will take the opportunity to negotiate with Putin, and during the negotiations, what will happen? During the negotiations, the two leaders will discuss the main outlines of future development. The main outlines of future development, the comprehensive strategic partnership, as well as the current issues on the international and regional agenda. So, they will talk about their future partnership. On what other axis can the two countries collaborate? And it is this collaboration between Russia and China that America wants between itself and China. But China does not want it. China does not want it at all. And initially, in the friendship between China and Russia, the United States of America invested several $billions to counter the rapprochement between China and Russia. Unfortunately, it never worked. So the two will talk about development. And as if all this were not enough, the two will talk about current issues. Yes, they will talk about the current issues on the international agenda. So what is happening currently? What position should Russia and China take regarding the United States of America? Russia will take another approach in the context of the Russo-Ukrainian conflict, in the context of the conflict in Ukraine, or the special military operation in Ukraine. What path will be adopted? What path? What direction will they take? So, each of these countries must have a position. That is to say, both countries must have a common position. So they are going to talk about that. And that means that in the coming days, severe decisions will be made against the Westerners. And so, beyond this aspect, the signing of several bilateral documents is also planned. They will sign several documents as part of their ongoing strategic partnership. They will sign interinstitutional bilateral documents. Here is the clarification given by the Kremlin press. So, the information is given. The Europeans are at a loss. They have nothing but their tears to cry, since they can never separate these two gentlemen. And so, young ladies and gentlemen, that was the headline of international news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai,